Hello and a very warm welcome to the Queen channel. Meghan Markle is getting ready for new damning details about palace bullying accusations. This day has finally come. Could it be the last straw? Could it save Meghan's life, or could it be the appropriate punishment for this bully? Well, please watch the whole video to find out. In the past, it was reported by Buckingham Palace that they were investigating some claims that Meghan Markle had bullied various employees. But more details might be about to come. For sure, Meghan Markle should be getting ready for some new damning details regarding the bullying accusations. I mean, now it's been 6 years, and royal author Tom Bower has said that new details could be about to come out, although he says the investigation remains under lock and key. And really, it bothers me that the palace has not made Meghan Markle's crimes public. I mean, why are they covering up for her? Information is revealed in little tiny drops. It's not enough. But they cannot keep this covered up forever. One day it's going to come out and the truth is finally going to be revealed. And it's really not good for the palace either. I mean, it is much to their discredit that whatever truth we come to, it should have to emerge in this really unsatisfactory and slow way. And isn't it crazy that even in this situation, Meghan Markle tries to act like she's the victim in all this? I still remember at the time the bullying accusations were made public, there was some PR person speaking on Meghan's behalf, and they released a statement saying, "The Duchess of Sussex is saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself and is deeply committed to supporting those who have experienced pain and trauma. She is determined to continue her work building compassion around the world and will keep contributing to set an example for doing what is right and doing what is good." Okay, I mean, I can't even say that with a straight face. What is she talking about? She is an example of doing what is right and doing what is good? No, she's not. But anyway, it's going to be very interesting to watch and see how Meghan reacts to any news on this front. The fact that Meghan Markle did not demand the release of the bullying report tells us all we need to know. Meghan was given so much advice about what was expected in her role, but she decided not to listen. And she was a bully to her staff. She treated them like crap, like they were her slaves. And that is not how the British royal family operates. Meghan Markle made no effort whatsoever to adapt. She didn't try to adjust to royal life. Instead, she just saw it as a means to an end, because for her, that's all it was. And I'm sure it was incredibly painful for those poor employees who were bullied, having to see Meghan Markle playing the victim and acting like she's this amazing humanitarian. And they had an investigation done by the palace, which was great, but it wasn't made public, which I was really disappointed by. It's time to let the real victims have their say. Palace staff are also not slaves and they're not servants. That is the mistake that Meghan Markle made. She believed that she could just tell them whatever she wanted them to do and they were supposed to do it. She showed no respect to those people. The late Queen and Catherine, they tried to teach her. They tried to teach her that there was a big difference between the way she was treating them and the way she should be treating them, but she didn't listen. And so that's when the real hate and disrespect towards the royals started. I mean, we saw a great example with Meghan's behavior. When she would push past the Queen, for example, she just had to get into the car before her. What a horrible way to treat an elderly woman. I mean, let's forget about the fact that she was queen. Meghan Markle has no manners, she has no decorum, and she has no respect for anyone. Honestly, if that's not a bully, I don't know what is. So I'd say it's high time the victims had a chance to speak out. We have seen more than enough of Meghan's controlling, manipulative behavior over the years, so the victims need closure. Thanks to this incident, we also see that Meghan was 100% correct in his assessment. Meghan Markle only ever wanted to use the royal family to her own advantage. She never really loved Harry, she never really wanted him. She never even wanted their invisible children. She never wanted to have a good, supportive relationship with the royal family. The only thing Meghan has ever cared about is herself, her fame, her money, and her perceived power. So it's about time we heard the other side of the argument. We've got to do something to get an answer. Surely the palace must have a report and also a suitable answer for the people. So far, it's just been a one-way match, with Meghan being able to say whatever she wants and nobody is allowed to correct her. I feel really bad, though, for the people who were victims of her bullying, especially that poor woman in Australia who had hot tea thrown at her by Meghan because Meghan was upset with her for some reason. Apparently, she even had to seek medical treatment. If you want to know the details, well, it's all in Courtiers by Valentine Lowe and Battle of Brothers 2 by Robert Lacey. These books were published in 2021 and 2022. If you want to read about it, you can. And the press should also probably pick up these books and read a little bit. It contains all the details of the bullying incidents, the weird loyalty tests, Meghan trying to disrupt the work of William and Catherine on purpose, and also stealing things. And we wonder why the Queen told them they needed to leave. The only mistake the Queen made, I think, was letting them save face. And if what we have said is not true, then why hasn't Meghan Markle been filing lawsuits against both authors? She's had more than enough time to do so. Both books cover the same incidents, basically word for word. And I don't believe for one second that Meghan has ever been victimized by bullies. Come on. Meghan is a mean girl. She's been that way for a very long time, most of her life, I'd argue. She treats people like they are there to serve her, there to make her every wish come true. It doesn't matter if it's her friends, her family, or staff. If they don't do absolutely everything she tells them to and the way she tells them to do it, then, well, she's going to berate them first, and then she's going to dump them. She never realized that the royal family simply doesn't have servants. They have loyal and valued, respected staff, and they are treated very well. Many people are considered part of the family. The Queen even made arrangements for some of her most trustworthy staff to be given lodging in a royal residence for the rest of their lives. But anyway, back to the main issue, the bullying report itself. Now, the royal family did an investigation like any other company would, so in some ways I can understand why we didn't get the full results. I mean, they are, after all, the firm. Her Majesty the Queen laid out very clearly what it was, and I don't believe she cleared Meghan's name when she announced that the bullying investigation was complete. People would have been paid compensation for the suffering they had to endure thanks to Meghan. It's important that we not blame the royal family for this grown woman who is the most horrible person I have ever come across. The problem is Meghan. It's always been Meghan. It always will be Meghan. Catherine, on the other hand, well, she's been a loyal member of the royal family for over a decade, and never once has there been any accusation about her other than that she's a kind and lovely person, very down to earth. All the complaints came when Meghan Markle entered the scene. She's the one who ghosts her own family members once she doesn't need them anymore. There are not many people in this world who dump their own family members, people who cared for them their entire lives. But Meghan is a narcissist. She simply doesn't have the ability to really love or care about somebody. And oh yeah, Meghan is determined to continue her work building compassion around the world and will keep striving to set an example for doing what is right and doing what is good. My God, I mean, well, I guess it's great news actually. I just gotta ask, when exactly is she gonna start this work? Some of the accusations Meghan has even admitted to. She's admitted that she would call up staff after hours and try to make them do work. I mean, that is not encouraging a good workplace environment. I think it's encouraging a very hostile workplace environment, and that actually does meet the definition of bullying. I mean, already, we see so many examples of her awful behavior. And instead of a bunch of word salad, why couldn't Meghan just tell the truth? Why does she always have to blame other people, call them liars? You know that's what she's going to say. Or she'll say, oh, her recollections are different. She'll accuse the staff of being belligerent. Now, the day that Oprah documentary was broadcast, we saw Meghan for who and what she really is. And Harry, obviously, too. It was not a good day for those two. We're never going to forget it. But at least now we know how those two operate. And yeah, it's some pretty scary stuff. I also find it very difficult to believe that Meghan really is intelligent, because if she were intelligent, she would be able to foresee the consequences of her actions. It seems like Meghan just can't stop and think about how her actions are going to impact other people or even herself. It seems like she's just very impulsive, and she's very reactionary too. But according to Meghan, oh, it's all lies. They're just trying to smear me. Only her version of truth should be accepted, and we know how her truths are never based in reality. So if Meghan had been found not guilty of the bullying, then she and Harry would have demanded, under no uncertain terms, that the report be divulged. Otherwise, she and Harry would have sued. For once, though, they stayed quiet, and that tells us a lot. Up to this point, they still have not received any punishment, which I think is wrong. It is possible that Meghan is going to declare to her staff that she's not a bully, and she could make all her resigning employees sign NDAs. We've never heard anybody complain. I think there's a reason for that. But anyway, Meghan has caused all of this mess. And I don't know what is going on with Harry and Meghan's love affair, but I think it's coming to an end. She was living in the palace. She was bullying the staff. She was ruining the image of the palace and the royal family, or at least trying to. Did she ever belong? I'd say no. Meghan never even loved or respected Harry. And what about that engagement ring? Now it's been changed, it's been adapted, and it has been modified. I can't even recognize it anymore. Remember how proud Harry was that he had made some special design for her? Well, she's changed it completely. The sad thing is, I think Harry, when they got married, really was excited. He saw the crowds, he saw how happy people were, but Meghan thought she was better than all that. She undermined it all. She said that they actually got married in the backyard a few days prior, that the spectacle wedding was just for the public. It was disgusting. Meghan wants to pretend like all of that was staged. Okay, Meghan. Everything you do is staged, so in some ways maybe I believe it, but of course you were not married in the backyard a few days prior. Who does she think she is, though, talking about building compassion all around the world, and that she's going to continue to strive to set an example of doing what is right and doing what is good? Meghan Markle is the poorest example I've ever come across of doing what is right and doing what is good. And compassion, does she even know what that word means? She completely ignores her elderly, ailing father, and she bullies the royal family, including the late Queen, and also Prince Philip. I will always wonder if the stress that Meghan Markle brought into their lives hastened their deaths. I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, Meghan needs to stop saying these stupid things. The more she says them, the more we're going to see who she really is. She made the late Queen's last years on this earth be so upsetting and confusing too. I think the late Queen couldn't understand why she was being treated like that. She called a whole country racist, and she simply cannot cover up her overbearing, controlling personality. She's always using this PR that honestly we could all do without. And Meghan Markle is also trying to use Britain's history to make money for herself. Meanwhile, most Brits know exactly what she's up to, and they're understandably disgusted. That cause and effect is showing up, and now we see reality. They're running out of money. The deals they signed are coming to an end, and they're not going to get any new ones. If they manage to land any new deals, it's going to be for a lot less money, and they've still got this oversized McMansion they got to pay for. They've got to pay a lot of money for security, and they still believe that they are entitled to live this billionaire lifestyle, buying whatever they want, whenever they want it, flying around the world on private jets. These headlines, I'm afraid, are not going to stop. Harry, what is he going to do once he finally wakes up and sees the truth? I just had to laugh too when I read the Duchess of Sussex is saddened by this latest attack on her character, particularly as someone who has been the target of bullying herself and is deeply committed to supporting those who have experienced pain and trauma. Oh yeah, victim mode already. I cannot wait, though, for the report to come out. It's going to be some juicy stuff. It seems like Meghan and her PR people are really messing up these days. I guess she can't afford anyone good now. Anybody who has the ability to expose these hidden crimes, these acts of bullying that should be brought to light, have my complete respect. I really enjoy Tom Bower. I thought that his book was great. And as a lawyer, he has to know why the bullying report is still under lock and key. It is to protect the people who speak out until such a time that they can speak freely. In the meantime, we already know what happened. The late Queen removed them from the Royal Foundation. She took away their offices in Kensington Palace, and she was the one who started this whole investigation into the allegations of bullying. And that's a report that, of course, she read, and I'm sure she did act upon. When we combine this with some other things that could have influenced her, but still haven't been dealt with, Well, I mean, it could be the real circumstances of Artificial's birth or parentage are a problem. Maybe she told the two of them they were unfit for a life of service, because they are, and so basically she told them to go. I think the queen essentially did fire them, but because she was kind and because she was Harry's grandmother, she took pity on them and she allowed them to make up this story that they decided to leave. And this is my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong here, but there are many signs that point to this idea being reality. You know the old saying, a book is judged not only by its cover, but by its inner pages too. So if Meghan Markle really such an amazing woman, then why have so many of her old friends come out and talked about her previous behaviors? Meghan has always been a mean girl, and she's always been very jealous of people who she thinks have something she can't have. People who have more money, people who are more popular, more famous. Let's just ask her ex Trevor what she was like, or her childhood friend Inaki Pretty. There are plenty of people who can speak on Meghan's behavior, and none of them have anything good to say. So I guess I do understand why the Queen was always concerned about how he would turn out, that he was a bit slow and he was lacking in personality, so they let Harry get away with a whole lot. And after all the help, after all the cover-ups, his grandmother helped him out big time. She promoted him through the ranks, and this is how he repaid her? No wonder she was upset. Harry is also completely under Meghan's control at this point. I think even Harry is a victim of Meghan's bullying. So how could the servants, as she thought they were, avoid being bullied? There are so many ex-royal staff members who all say the same thing about how they were treated while they were just trying to help Meghan. Since she left the royal family, the last 3 years we have learned a lot about how awful she really is. And of course, the report on Meghan's bullying is under lock and key. There can only be one person leaking stories, and guess what? It's not the royal family. I think the royals are just done with the two of them. Meghan's behavior over the last 6+ years shows us that she was never royal material in the first place. And as for the racist comments, well, she saw herself as white on her driving license and her CV. So now let's look at what kind of situation Harry and Meghan have found themselves in. They are alienated from their families, they don't have any work, they don't really have any friends anymore either. Nobody likes Meghan, the list goes on and on. They're not in a good place. Meghan is also so phony. She never comes across as genuine or authentic. And this has a lot to do with why she's a big-time failure. Her latest jam business is not going to be any different. And speaking of Meghan Markle's new jam business, I've got a question. What do you think of Meghan's new lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard? Are you excited about it? Do you think it's going to be successful, or do you think it's going to be a failure like everything else she touches? Please let me know what you think below in the comments, and feel free to make them a little bit funny. I enjoy laughing too. I mean, okay, so if she's going to be a successful lifestyle guru, first of all, she needs to get a life of her own. And then her life has to have some type of style. Cozy, shabby chic, it is a style, but it's not Meghan's style. Many people do like antiques and knickknacks, and a few people do ask advice online on how to make their lives more livable. There is a market for it. But honestly, I don't think Meghan Markle is ever going to be somebody that people look to. So according to more than enough evidence, Meghan wants to be famous both locally and globally. She wants to be in a position to share her voice on microphones all around the world. She loves hearing herself speak. And so she believes that she's going to be in a position of power where she can share all kinds of word salad. She's going to use a lot of buzzwords like inclusion, empowerment, equity, and authenticity. And if you don't stop her in time, well, she's just going to go on and on and on. And then what's going to happen? Well, people will probably just fall asleep. And remember, Meghan is also going to change the world because other powerful women are going to join her, and they're going to talk about her master plan to lend voices to various women and young girls. I'm pretty certain she had Michelle Obama, Angelina Jolie, Angela Merkel, Hillary Clinton, and Oprah in her sights. Oh yeah, she's on their level, sure, Meghan. And Gayle King will be fine too. I'm still not sure who these silent women and girls are who Meghan is going to help so much. But anyway, maybe we'll find out eventually. And to help her in her mission, of course, she had to buy that Montecito McMansion that looks like the Olive Garden. It's got fruit trees and strawberry fields apparently too. So it's not like Meghan is giving lifestyle tips from a shack. I mean, I guess those aspirations in some ways came to fruition. So from that McMansion, now she's trying to sell jam with the help of some random influencers. And I only know they're influencers because, well, that's what I've read on the internet. I don't know who these people are. But anyway, what about Meghan? What about the question of what exactly is she trying to do? Well, she has gotten some trademarks to sell some napkins and dog food and some other random things I don't even remember. So what is she trying to do? I'm not sure. So far, she has released 50 jars of strawberry jam to 50 people. And you know who those people are? Well, they're all those big celebrities she invited to the wedding. Not her family members, of course. And unfortunately for Meghan, they haven't said anything about the jam. The label is already peeling off on one jar, and for all we know, the jam tastes like absolute crap. So is it going to succeed in making us forget all about Meghan's past mistakes and failures? Is it going to get her out of a jam, pun intended? You know, Meghan really wants to be a winner, so I think I've got an award figured out for her. We can give her the award of the most failures one fake royal has ever experienced. As I see it, the biggest problem with Meghan Markle trying to become a lifestyle guru is that who wants this lifestyle that Meghan wants? It's weird, too, that so far only 3 of her target 50 recipients of the jam have been acknowledged getting the jar, and one just seemed really confused about why he had it and what was even inside the jar. And apparently they thought that it was raspberry. They didn't even realize it was supposed to be strawberries. So considering the poor response by those hand-picked influencers who got their share of Meghan's latest money-making scheme, I don't predict a lot of success in this latest endeavor. If she can't even get any attention with a group of recipients all carefully selected because they're fame and PR hungry, much like Meghan herself, then what hope does she have that regular people are going to pay a lot of money for this jam that might not even really be jam, and who knows where it came from because the label doesn't even specify it? I can't even believe she's trying this. And what about you? What do you think about the issues that we just talked about in this video? Don't hesitate to share your opinion in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye for now, and I'll be back to see you again soon in other videos on the Queen YouTube channel.